Hi, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. Today is Monday, March 24th, 2025, and I hope you're ready for a really fun interactive card. We're going to make a cascading gatefold card. Now, I am going to show it to you before we get started. And I really kind of worked on this. So I have a couple to show you, and then I'm going to show you how to make it. I am going to say it isn't a beginner card to start with. If you're used to making fun folds, this is more of an avid card, but it is beautiful when you're done. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you found me. I hope you like what you see. And if you're with me live or catching me on the replay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch the video. And if you're with me live, to be with me. So I am ready to get started. So I'm going to flip this to my desktop. Okay, let me show you what we're using. I am using, and I've done all the stamping because my goal is truly to show you how to make this card. I am using sketched butterflies, and I'm using a lot of these dies, and you'll see that throughout the card. And then on the stamp set, I think I used a greeting and some of these small butterflies. Now I'm using designer series paper, and this is one that really shows off your designer series paper. And the one that I'm using, let's see here, I forgot to grab it to show you. It'll come to me. It is the Everyday Happiness. And this was an online exclusive back in January. And I only have bits and pieces left. I'm waiting for my order to come this week with a new pack. So what you'll see is what I'm using. So let me show you the card. Hi, Linda. Thank you for joining. This was the first card I made, and I saw it somewhere on Pinterest several years ago, and had made it, but it's big. It's a 5x7. It does fit an A6 card or envelope. So what I'm going to show you is a downplayed version of it that I kind of worked with to make it myself. So this has a belly band, and you open it up. It's just so pretty. And you kind of shake it out, and you have this beautiful cascading gatefold card. It stands and displays beautifully. And on the back, you can put, and I've not attached mine yet because I'm waiting to sign it and write a note when I send it, but you can add a panel with 2 panels so that you can write a personalized greeting. So a really great, fun, interactive fun fold. Now I have brought it down to an A2 size card, and I kind of combined a couple different variations of it. So this is the one we're going to make, and really pretty, and we're going to get started. All right, so this has 2 parts to it. So the first part, and this is a part I added to that gatefold from another one I had played with, is this is a 5.5 by 8 3/4 inch piece of cardstock. Now I used a 12 by 12 piece of white because that is the only 12 by 12 paper I had. So we're going to work with this. And this is going to be like the cover or the folding part. I'm going to call it the base of the card. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in here and kind of bring it to hopefully where you can see it. And we're going to score this at 2 Let me line it up here, get this out of the way, at 2, 2 1/4, then 6 1/2. So we're going to have to open the arm. And let me slide it down so you can see it. I'm going to go to 6 1/2. Okay. And then 6 3/4. So let me bring it in again for you. And right there. Okay. All right. So we're done with this part. So what we're going to do now is fold this into our cover. So I'm going to grab a bone folder and we're going to fold on each of these edges. Now I found it's easier, at least for me, to start on that inside fold and then work on the outside fold. And because they're so thin in between each other, it may take just a little bit to get them folded. So you're almost making like a binding. So let's go to the other one. And we're going to score that, or burnish that, I guess. And then burnish this. So when it is folded like this, it comes together. All right, now I want to add some decor to this. Now, I am going to add a piece, it's 2 by 4 1/4, and I'm adding this to the top here, and you'll see why as we go a little bit further. In fact, I'm going to turn it because I want that it'll come to me, the name, wild wheat up towards the top. So let's add this here. And I'm going to add that right up to the very top edge of this card base. All right, next I want to add 2 pieces of designer series paper. One here to the front. So I'm just going to open this up. And this is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And you'll need 2 of them. Now, please don't worry about measurements. I will have a resource sheet that you'll download that will have a diagram for cutting and scoring. And then also a link for that. But this is one that I am not going to be writing written instructions for because I think it's much easier to make if you follow along with the video. And I'm not so sure the instructions would be clear. So let's go ahead and add this one. Sometimes there's just some cards that watching and following along to make them is easier to do. And I think this is one of those. If you have questions along the way, please go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'll try to keep an eye on that and answer as we go along. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so here's the base, the outside. And then for our inside, I'm going to add 2 more strips of 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. I don't know that I would have thought to put wild wheat and Lost Lagoon together, but they sure look pretty. So let's add this last one. And then we're done with this portion of the card for now. And we're going to set it off to the side. I'll bring that down. And that looks good. All right, so let's set this off to the side and we'll come back to that in just a little bit. Okay, now we're ready to start the inside of our card. And for this, we're going to use a piece that is 8 inches. Let's make sure. Yep, 8 inches by 12 inches. Okay, now we have to score this because that's how we're going to get our cascades. So I'm going to bring this in, and I do have this open, and I'm going to try to bring it up as easy as I can for you to see, because we're going to be doing a fair amount of scoring, and hopefully you can see that. Okay, so on this 8 by 12 piece, we are going to score at 2. So let's get rid of the cutter. We're going to score at 2. We're going to score at 4. Now we're going to go to 6, but we're not going to score at 6. I am going to put my track down, and I'm going to come in a little bit more for you. And I'm going to take a pencil, and what I'm going to do is run a line down the center of that track. So let me, and make sure we're at 6. We are. Okay. Oops. And I'm just going to run a line down the center, and you're not going to see it. Then we're going to score at 8 and at 10. So okay, now we're going to turn this on the 8-inch side. Okay, and I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm going to mark at 5.5 right here. I want to mark right in the track a 5.5-inch mark, just a little tick mark. And then I'm going to back it out to 2.5. And I'm going to mark that down here. Let me bring it in for you. Down here at this track mark. Okay. And now we're going to do some cutting. So we want to cut this in half. This is going to make our cascade. And to do that, we're going to get the tick marks lined up, and it's a little bit difficult, but you can do it within that track. So I'm just bringing this in here and lining them up, and you can see, hopefully, let me move this over. I have one tick mark here, and then you're going to have to kind of trust me on this because the camera doesn't pan that far. I have another tick mark up at the top lined up, and we're just going to cut. Okay. And I have just a little piece here that didn't snip, so I'm just going to snip it off. All right. We are done with the cutting and the scoring. Okay, you now have 2 pieces. They're going to come together. These are going to make up your card. So the first thing I want to do, and we're going to fold these, but we can always, if we need to, fold them back the other way. So this one is going to fold in like this, and I'm going to burnish it, and we're going to fold back on the next one. Okay, now we aren't going to fold on that pencil mark, but now we're going to fold back on this and burnish it, and then fold this and burnish that. Okay, so this is part of the cascade, and it will cascade. You'll see when we add it. Now we have to do the same thing with this one. So this one I'm going to fold back. And again, or let's fold this way. Sorry about that. If we have to go the other way, once we put these together, it will be just fine. We're going to do that. And then where the pencil mark is, we're not going to fold, but we're going to fold here. And then fold this. Now, I'm sure we're going to have to adjust these folds, but I'm not worried about it. Now, to make our cascade, we have to join these two pieces together. So in order to do that, we are going to cut halfway up on 3 of these lines, 2 score lines and 1 the pencil line. Now you could measure them. I found it easier to just eyeball it. So with this, I'm gonna cut up halfway right on that score line. I'm gonna go over to the pencil mark and cut halfway up. And then I'm gonna come over here to the last and cut halfway up, okay? Now, we have to do the same thing on this one, but we're going to cut from the top. So I'm going to flip it around, and we're going to start on this small one and cut in. We're going to come to the one with the pencil and cut halfway down. And we can always adjust this as we put this together. If we have to extend one of the cutting lines, we will. Okay. So now we're going to put these together. And I like to start with the larger end. It just makes it a little easier. As you put them together, you want your bottoms to match. So that slid in beautifully. The next one is, where are we here? We're going to fit this in here. Okay, and now we're going to come over and join these two together. And they actually all, let's make sure they all come down right to meet each other. And this one, nope. This one looks like I could just extend it just a little bit, but the one in the middle. So what I'm going to do is back this out. And I want this to come down a little bit. So I'm just going to clip it in here just a little bit more. Okay, and let's see how that goes. So it's a little bit of trial and error, but really easy to do. And that brought it together beautifully. Okay, so let's add these in here. All right, and they all meet and they're even on the lower edge and on the top. Now, to make your cascade, we're simply going to fold that back, your bottoms back. Take these, and you're going to open these up, and we're just going to fold them down. Open them out. Whoops. Put that back together here. Once it's there, it's there. So there is your cascade. Now, once I've got it there, I'm going to hit my edges again with my bone folder, but easy to do. Okay. All right. So here's our cascade. So now we're ready to add our designer series paper to this. And I have several pieces cut. And we're going to start with the back fold. Now, you can fold these over or open that up. You can also take these apart to put them on. I tend to leave mine together. So let's work from there. I think it's easier. And these are 1 3/4 by, let's see, 5 1/4. So I am going to line this up. The easiest way I have found is to line this up at the top and come down to where my fold is going to meet the slanted edge or the center where the next fold is. And I'm simply going to make a tick mark. Okay. Let me erase that on the white card because I don't want that to show. Okay. So I have my tick mark there. And then I'm going to bring in my cutter, and I'm simply going to line these up and cut. So mine seem to be lined up well. So what I'm going to do is actually put my 2 right sides together, or my back sides together, I'm sorry, because that way I can see where my tick mark is. And I'm going to put the corner edge in the track and bring my tick mark down, and I'm going to just cut that off. Now, when you're cutting this, you don't want to cut from the point in because it'll bend your point. So you don't want to do that. You want to be able to start and not pull towards you, but push away from you. And now if I take these out, oh, wrong side. This is going to fit very nicely in here, and this one's going to fit in here. So we're going to go ahead and glue those in. Now, a lot when you're making these cascades depends on, you know, getting this right when you're cutting and getting your edges even. So that's hard to do. And you have to give yourself some grace. Not everything may look perfect, but it's going to look beautiful. So I'm going to bring this in here. I just want a nice edge all the way around. And I'm going to tuck that in a little bit to straighten it up. And that looks pretty good. Let's flatten it out. Let's do the same on this side. So I hope you had a good weekend and had time to do something fun with either family and friends or crafting that you were able to enjoy. Hopefully you had some time off. So I'm going to bring this in again, a nice edge. Line it up. And just scoot that over just a little bit. There we go. So there's our first ones. All right. Now we're ready to do the next ones. So we are going to, now, quick thought. When I first saw this made, there were only designer series paper on the back, on this fold, and this. So you had whatever color cardstock you used was just plain. So you can leave that with just the cardstock. However, I have chosen to add designer series paper in those center cascading folds. So again, I'm going to bring this in and line that up with my top here and mark it. I'm going to take these and put them together back to back, and we're just going to trim those off. Now, if you're confident in your ability to trim, you can cut those with the scissors. I don't do anything straight. I just don't. So I know to use my trimmer if I want it to look halfway decent. So we're going to put that in here. And I'm just going to come away from the point and cut. All right. So these are going to go inside just like that. Oh, wrong side again. So let's go ahead and adhere these. So the reason I did not cut these ahead of time on the slant is until you have the card made and know how your folds have come out, it really, you may not have the paper cut to fit. So unfortunately, you're going to see me cut these. And if you come back to make it and you watch the replay, feel free to fast forward. But this was the best way I could think to show you how to do this, and as easily as possible. So bring these up so that they meet. They're even, and just press down. Okay, I'm going to leave this right here because we're ready now to go to these insides. So again, I'm going to line up at the corner over on the highest point of that fold and then make my tick mark. By the time you do this much, you pretty much have it down, but it does look so pretty when you're done. So lining up the tick mark in my track and then angling it so my point is over here, and just cut. And we're ready to add these. This one is going to go here. Okay, and that one's just a little bit long, and I've had that happen, so I want to be able to show you what to do. I'm going to put them back together, either right sides together or wrong, the back sides together. And I'm going to come in here and I'm simply going to trim off the bottom like 1/8 of an inch. That's all I'm going to take off. Okay, and now these should fit perfectly. And they do. So let's go ahead and adhere them. So you may have to do a little tweaking along the way, with this, but that's almost to be expected. So let's see, put this in here and line these up. And let's pull that bottom out a little bit so we have a nice clean edge. Okay, now I got a little bit of glue on there from my hand. So I have a glue eraser and I'm simply gonna take it off with that. If you leave it on there, your card's gonna stick together and you're not gonna get the cascade on that one side. So just taking it off. All right. Next, we're gonna push that open to the side. There we go. And we're gonna add our glue and put this one on. Now, with this one, I used all Designer Series paper, and we'll look at the other ones here when we're done again. With the others, I used some embossed cardstock, so you're not locked in to Designer Series paper. you can truly do some embossing if you want to. But I thought it'd be a little quicker for us if we went ahead and used the designer series paper. Now our next piece is going back to our Lost Lagoon, and I'm simply going to bring this in here and mark that, and we're going to put these together. And again, I'm going to slide this over. We're going to line up the tick mark with the edge, the point, and I do have these together. That way I get the right same angle for both of them. And we're simply going to cut. All right, only a few more pieces. So this one is going to fit in here, and that looks good. So let's go ahead and adhere that. And we're just going to slide it in. And it slides in really easy, which is why I'm using the glue, because all I have to do is pull up a little bit on that fold, the cascading fold, and it slides right in for you to adhere. So we're going to go ahead with this one. And bring that up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Our next one is our florals. And we're almost there. And I'm going to go ahead and mark this right here. And we're going to go ahead and cut these. Now, I wish there was an easier way I could tell you to do this, but when you're doing it on your own and, you know, not kind of teaching it, it does go a little bit faster. A piece of scrap got in there. Let's move that out of the way. And now we're ready to adhere these. So this one, we're going to pop this back. Little piece of glue there. And this is going to fit right in here. So let's go ahead. Now I will tell you, the first time I made this, because I was trying to refigure some of the dimensions, it seemed like I went through an awful lot of white cardstock. But it really did seem to, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm going to take that glue off there. It's on my hands. And then we're going to add this piece. And then we're down to our final two pieces. Those look good. All right. And last, we're going to go back to our green. This is going to go up at the top again. Make my tick mark. Everybody's quiet. Any questions? So I'm going to line this up at the tick mark with the corner right there. Oops, slipped. There to there. Okay. And we're done. We are done with the trimmer. Okay, so this next one is going to go here. These really are much easier to do than they look. Once you get started. All right. Now we're ready to decorate. Oh, Linda, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, all right, so here's our cascade. Look at that. Oh, I got it tucked in. So you can see it opens up beautifully and moves out. Now I'm going to use some hand sanitizer. So we're going to glue this into here, and then when this closes, you have your, it's almost like a gatefold with a cascade. So let's go ahead and glue this in. And I'm just going to add, I'm going to use liquid glue. And turn it over and just get it right in there so that it lines up at the top, but more importantly, it's lined up at the bottom also. And I'm just going to give it a good press, and then here's the gatefold. Now we're ready to decorate. So for this, I brought in some butterflies. I made 7 little butterflies here, and hopefully they're all still here. I'm picking up my desktop because some of them have kind of flown away. So we're going to add these, and we're also going to add a piece here that kind of pops out. So we're going to make, let me show you this. This is a 1-inch by 3-inch piece of just basic white scrap. We're going to score this at a 1/2 inch. Let's get the cutter out of the way. 1 inch. 2 inches. And then 2.5 inches. All right. Now this is our almost going to be our pop-up mechanism. We're going to fold both center folds back, and then the end folds we're going to fold forward, so that we have this little pop-up mechanism that's going to adhere right to the center of this fold, of this cascade. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these on. You could use tape runner, might be a little hard to get on here. You could use the double-sided tape. Okay. And I'm going to fold this up and place it right so it's centered, and I'm going to go high on this. I'm going to take my bone folder and just give it a good press. And the same here, just give it a good press. Okay, so that's your little pop-up mechanism. Now, what I did was make a little, I used the postage die stamps. You can just use rectangle. And I'm going to adhere this to that. And then when the card closes, it flattens down. But before I adhere it, I'm going to add a butterfly. So let's add, I'm going to add one here. And it is going to hang off, which is fine. So he's going to look like he's flying. So let's add one here. And then I made a little one. These are from the sketched butterflies. I didn't even show you that. I used these two bases and I cut designer series paper from that on the back of what this, it's like a watercolor. I cut the solid one out of designer series paper, and then I cut the detailed ones out of not Lost Lagoon, but Pretty Peacock, because you have a little bit of Pretty Peacock in here, and I wanted to catch that. And then this one's going to be going the other direction. So let's add a little bit of glue, and let's adhere this one this way. Okay, now we're ready to add this to our pop-up mechanism. So I am going to put some glue on this, and I'm going to put the glue on my pop-up mechanism simply because if I put it on the back of this, I may not line it up and it could get on my designer series paper. So I'm just going to center that and press it down and hold it for a minute. And then when we pick it up, you can see it pops open. So, and it stands up. So it's really a nice interaction or interactive card. Now I've got some more of these butterflies. I had a lot more than I have right here. Not sure where they all went. Did they tuck under here? No. All right, well, I had 7 of them cut. And a couple of them are on the ground. So let's pick those up. And I thought it'd be fun to add these right along the cascades. So let's just start doing that and see how it's going to look. Now, again, you want to be careful because you only want to put adhesive on the side you're going to adhere to the outside of the cascading part. Otherwise, you're going to stick to the next fold and it's not going to open. Let's take, let's go to a yellow one and let's add one here. And we're going to get that from this side. And this is going to go in the opposite direction. Now, you could use flowers for this. You could use little critters, whatever you wanted to use for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and this one's going to go this way now in the opposite direction, just for some added interest. Oh, Kim, that is, yes, it would have to be a very special person for this card. You're right. You know, it does take a little bit to make, but boy, it is just so pretty. I had so much fun making them. And then we're going to bring this one in right up here, and it's going to go in the opposite so that they look like they're flying. And when this is open, it's so stunning because they almost look like they're flying, following one another. And then I'm going to stick one right up here. So let's do that. Let's put this right here, and this one doesn't fold, so I want to, or open, so I want to make sure that it's not sticking out from the top of my card. All right, so when you open this up, this is what it's going to look like. And I know that's hard to see, but let me show you. So you have these butterflies looking like they're flying and following one another. Just really pretty. All right, so the inside of our card is done. Now we're going to get ready to close it up. And we're going to close it with a belly band. And I did not burnish that fold very well. So we're going to, and I can't do it now, but I'll work on it. We'll bring the card together. So the belly band, you're going to simply put it, you can bring it around the front of the card, and you're going to wrap it so that it keeps your card closed, but you also want to have enough room that the person can slide this off. So this is good. And this is 1 inch by, I believe, 9 inches. So let's add some glue here. And we're going to, I have a little bit of glue sticking out, but that's okay, because you're going to see how we cover that up. All right, so now that that's on, I'm going to slide this off so I can press this together a little bit better. All right, for this, I put 2 of the postage stamp dies together, and we're going to adhere this right to here. That's our belly band, and it's going to adhere flat. So I'm simply going to add some glue. I didn't use any dimensionals on this card because, to be honest with you, it's a thicker card. It's going to take, if you were to mail it, and it can be mailed, it fits in an envelope, a regular A2. I would probably use a 5x7 envelope just so I don't, what do I want to say? Just to give it a little extra room, but it does fit in a standard envelope. Now, to decorate my belly band, I used this triple butterfly die, and I cut it from the designer series paper that looked like watercolor. I then cut another one out of a white scrap, and I adhered them together just to give it a little bit more stability. But I'm going to take and I'm going to cut these apart. All right, we're going to adhere this one right here. So I'm just going to add some glue, and I'm going to bring in my fine point glue to do that. And some of this will hang off. So I want to make sure that I don't get glue. I'm going to not go past the body of this butterfly and not go past the top of that butterfly. So I'm going to add some glue in here. And I'm just using this because it's a little easier with the precision of that fine tip. And then going over, again, staying at not going past the top of that butterfly's head, at least for where I'm positioning it. And just adding a little bit of glue there. Okay. So I'm going to add that there. And now this one, I'm going to go ahead and add right here, going in the other direction. And then we're going to add some gems, and we have one more piece to do. We're going to add the back to it, and I have that done. So let's add this here. Give it a good press. Whoops, I did not press it good enough. Give it a chance to sit for a minute. Okay, and we're ready to slide this back on, but we're going to let that dry for a minute, and we're going to put the back of our card on. Now I cut a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 of wild wheat, and then I stamped. My greetings are from different stamp sets, so use what you have. And I used the stamp from the sketched butterflies that has these 4 little butterflies. I stamped those and I colored those with Stampin' Blends using the wild wheat and pretty peacock. And we're going to adhere this to the back of our card. Now, normally I wouldn't adhere it until I'm ready to send it, but just so that you can see what it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and do that. When it comes time to give it to someone, I will work around it. So we're going to just slide that over. Okay, and now we're ready to add our belly band back. So let's slide that on. And as I'm sliding it on, the back is loosening up. There we go. That'll help hold that back on too. Now to give it a little bit of bling, I'm going to use my gold textured adhesive back dots. And we're just going to add, let's add a small one right here. And another small one. And then we're going to take a medium one here. And I'm just going to add that right down here. So here is our Cascading Fun Fold. So again, you slide it off. And when you open it up, it displays beautifully. And I know that's hard to see, but it comes out and it's just really very pretty. So, all right, let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's more of an avid card, but I really thought it was pretty, and I felt like some of you would really enjoy seeing it. So I hope you'll give it a try. I will have the link it will be available at 7 a.m. tomorrow, because this card is part of the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators Fun Fold blog hop, and that hop goes live at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So you'll be able to go over and see it and then download that resource sheet. And I hope you'll look at all the links below and see some other great fun folds by other talented demonstrators. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share it. And I will be back with you live on Thursday at 7 p.m. I hope you have a great week, everybody. Stay safe and well.